It is indeed a pleasure to have this privilege to play here for you. We intend to give you a very fine program, so just settle back, relax, and enjoy the moment.
Good morning. Y'all let me know if y'all can hear me. Check. Good morning. You can call it a good morning. Late last night after I went to bed because I had the longest day, not to center myself. But realize I don't have my glasses. I had to go. Good morning, y'all. We're going to get started. Got a lot of really important things to talk about last night. Jamal Sutherland news broke. A lot of you already know. A lot of you already reached out to me. Last night, again, I went to bed probably around 10:30. And as we suspected all week, in the past few days, the Jamal Sutherland tape was released. And so I just want to say I started this video with a thumbnail. I sent out a lot of communication about today's content. Today's content will feature graphic content, graphic images from the police, graphic content that shows police violence and that has resulted in death. And the other thing I want to just underscore today is that we're not just going to be going over the Jamal Sutherland case, which is paramount at the front of our minds, at the top of our hearts. Shout out to all the mothers and family members who sent me emails with even more disturbing information. Shout out to all the mothers. I'm trying not to get emotional, I swear. Shout out to all the mothers who sent me information about their incarcerated family members out Cannon and how scared they are. Shout out to all those on the front lines who know how bad it is inside of Al Cannon. And I'm just going to tell y'all, woke up really early. Couldn't sleep. I don't know what woke me up. I woke up way early and something said, just go ahead, hit refresh. I saw all the news from last night that broke. And then I watched the video twice. And it's quite disturbing. So I'm telling you that I'm not sharing this content without thinking about the family, not just Jamal Sutherland, all the families impacted by this footage, much like Mother Emanuel, much like Walter Scott, much like so many other atrocities here that are center Black trauma and death. It's hard to watch, and this is why we can't afford for the powers to be to pit folks like myself, folks like all of my amazing comrades. Can't pit us against the family. This is a big systemic issue. And so just so folks know that it impacts people, you don't have to be a blood relative to be impacted by this, let's say. All right. I'm going to play this footage. I'm not going to do the whole routine stop and start so much. I'm going to go ahead. Let me switch the views right now. And I'm going to start the video, and I'm gonna get up while it's playing. I'm gonna get up and get my glasses so I can make sure I read everything that I need to read, and that I can just go over this. But again, this is graphic content. I will stop it a little bit, but I'm gonna contextualize it afterwards.
He's insisting we open the door, refusing to cuff up, taking an aggressive stance. He's already said we have to use force on him. CDO Captain Greathouse has been notified. Judge is stating that he needs to be in front of the judge. So SOC has full operational control for the extraction. Medical is standing by on scene.
Yeah. I got it. Come back here. Hey.
He's got a spoon in his hand.
Yeah, you still got the spoon in his hand?
Yeah.
All right. Will you grab Waco out of the top? Sir, you got the kennel? I mean kennels. Keys. You still got them?
I got them.
Oh, all right.
815 Control, non deployment, DMU, service.
I haven't done it
You
yet.
haven't even done it yet.
I want to make sure the cameras are on this.
They already know. Hey, drop the spoon and come to the door.
Sir, drop the spoon, come to the door, Denise first. Come to the door, drop the spoon. Oh no.
You got another one now?
I might check it, the top or bottom. Bottom.
Come to the door, Sutherland. We'll get you out of there.
Hey, drop the spoon, come to the door. Sit down. There. I got it in the eye.
Blink your eyes. It's good.
Yeah. Come to the door, Sutherland. Hey, come to the door. Come here. Hey, it's gonna feel better you come to the door and get out of there.
Hey, turn around. Turn around. Sutherland, turn around.
He's just trying to wrap his blanket around his head?
Yeah.
Oh, let's see, you're not working.
You got a strap?
Yeah.
As soon as you come out, it'll get better.
Come to the door. What? You're going to buy. I already told you. Take that off your head. Come to the door. What do you want me to do?
Here, get a real carabiner armor. There's a bottom. That ain't gonna work.
I thought I threw that one away. There you go.
Come on, cup up.
No.
Drop to your knees! Drop to your knees! Drop down to your knees! Take that off your head and drop to your knees!
Sutherland, take the blanket off your head.
You want another round? I got another can too.
Blessed Jubilee! Blessed Lord!
Here.
Hallelujah! Hallelujah! Hallelujah!
Open the door and hit him, and you do it to the flat.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. He's backing up. He's taking the tray up.
A little bit. Close it.
Sutherland, drop the blanket, come to the door.
If he turns over, just crack the door. Crack the door. Get down, Sutherland!
Get down on the ground.
Get down, Sutherland! Get down!
Control 37E, SMU, 37E, SMU,
Turn on your stomach. Turn on your stomach. Turn on your stomach.
Roll up. And you're gonna get another one. Come to the door!
Slide to the door.
Slide to the door!
Get on your stomach, slide to the door. Stay on your stomach.
I can't stand up.
Stay on your stomach.
Slide.
Come to the door.
I got it. Slide. Keep sliding. Keep sliding. Keep sliding.
I got it.
Keep sliding. Come on, Sutherland. Keep going.
Keep coming.
Sutherland.
Keep moving.
Keep sliding.
Let me get up.
No, stay down.
And slide. Stay down and slide.
What's the meaning of this? What is
Come
it?
on.
Good. Keep coming. Keep coming.
Hey, turn over on your stomach.
Turn on your stomach.
Turn on your stomach.
Turn on your stomach.
Turn on your stomach.
For what?
Turn on your stomach.
As far as I'm turning.
Keep going.
No.
Oh, undo it, get everything, because we still got clothes.
As far as I'm turning. Turning. That's far as I'm
You
turning.
gotta resist.
I'm not a police officer.
Stop, you still got clothes in you.
Loosen up. Loosen up.
Officer.
Hey,
Put your head behind the back. Put your head behind the back now.
stop.
Get the cuffs on.
Get another coat.
Deputy Dawson to Deputy Farrar.
Oh, wait a minute. Work that one.
Can you give me a total?
Let it go. Loosen up. Stay going back.
Give us the other hand, Sutherland.
Give me your hand. Give me your hand. Give me your hand. Give me your hand. Give me your hand.
Hey, you want another pair?
We got two.
You got it?
Yeah.
No. Do it all. Watch it. All right, take that one.
Got it?
Yep,
All right, you want to slide them out?
not yet. Give us a second.
What's your name? Move your head a little bit.
Good?
You're in season? Yep, we're good. Hey, put a spin back on.
Hey, hand that foot back right there. You got a cup. There it goes. All right.
I got it. taser up.
Huh?
Put your taser up. Stop. Stay down. Oh my God.
Huh?
Chill out now. Chill out.
You what?
Y'all want to slide him out?
Put a chair.
Yeah, it's right here, right here. Let's slide him out.
Take this off.
Yeah. Hey! Stop! Hey, Sheriff.
Let's just slide him out.
He's grabbing on everything.
I got it.
Sarge, stand front.
Behind. All right, let's
Stop resisting!
ready?
Slide.
Come on, we can slide.
Right here, right here.
It's nurses.
Where's the nurse?
Hey, nurses up! Stop resisting!
Come on, Dagger.
Stop.
Stop! Yeah, 2 toes right here need to come out. Pull hard.
There's 2 toes on the front. If you can get them. Shit.
Thank you. We'll get the
Side.
No, you want to do it? Put them in the chair and get them done?
I'll do those. I'll do those. You got the tether? We're gonna read that.
Put it through them.
Put it up to the chair.
Right there.
We're gonna get the handcuffs.
No, let's put handcuffs. I got you. Let's do it.
Sit him up. Hey, get on that side and sit him up. Get him on that side. Get on that side and sit him up. Hold up. Come on. Oh.
He's passing. Just
Get
give
your tether.
him the waist strap.
Hey, will you check him? You check him?
Give me the waist strap.
Is he all right?
You see him?
No, he's not all right. Y'all, this gets real graphic right here. This is the worst part. The worst part, it feels like. Oh my God. This is when they call in a health professional.
How many times you got taser?
Twice.
More than that.
Yeah,
It's fine.
I had him 3 or 4.
He's slipping away. CPR.
Yeah.
Y'all, I don't even know what to say. So many questions. Y'all are both on Facebook and on Twitch in the chat. Y'all, you all have seen it. You all have called it. I want to say thank you, Stephen Bowden. I know you're a public defender and also a friend to the show. Stephen, thank you for adding additional context in the Twitch chat. Also, thank you, Meek McPherson, Joy Brown, just for adding more context. I'm going to read. I'm looking for the comments to read. For those, what we just saw, y'all, Stephen offers some things over here in the Twitch chat. that I want to reiterate or that I want to read out. So I've been saying that because of the reporting from, I believe, WCIV, that Jamal had the right to waive his appearance, right, at the bond hearing. Stephen has added additional context and helped correct what I said based on the reporting that I read. So Stephen said that the portion of the bond hearing where they advise the person of their rights and court date are still required, even if they waive a bond setting. But the bond hearings get delayed all the time for things like this, for all kinds of reasons. So Stephen goes on to say, I've been told before that a client refused to come to the hearing, so it was being postponed. This is completely unnecessary, Stephen says. And then, Stephen, you also offer some additional insight with another comment at the point where we were seeing him after he was tased, right? And they kept yelling, stop resisting, stop resisting. Stephen says at that point, his muscles are seized by electricity. He would literally be unable to voluntarily move his muscles in a way that would allow him to comply, right? So he had no more control over his body. And over in let me see if I can find that one comment. Yeah, Joy, you reiterate that his body's reacting to the taser. They keep hitting him because they say he's resisting. His body's reacting to that. Absolutely. Yeah, it's really devastating to watch. I didn't play that. I got no joy, no satisfaction playing that. It's something that we have to show. This is what we've been calling for. But y'all, there's so many questions. So top of mind, and y'all help me out here, especially you, Fernando. Thank you, Fernando, for jumping in here. Fernando, let me see what you wrote. From the time you saw, this is what you're saying, Fernando, on Twitch. From the time I saw his limp body, or his body limp, to the time where they rendered aid, it may have been 9 minutes. Absolutely. When I think that he lost, like he stopped, his body just looked completely limp and almost like he was unconscious. It felt like there was so much time where they could have called EMS, not just I'm assuming that's a health professional, a nurse or something there, but no CPR was administered, and that's alarming. I'm also looking at the conditions of the jail. When they first start the footage, right? When they first start showing us seeing the cell, I'm thinking about the conditions because you all helped me yesterday in talking about mental illness and what possibly could trigger and make this situation even worse, right? Jamal, when he was brought in by NCPD to the Al Cannon Detention Center, Jamal was asking for his medicine, right? And he was clearly in a state of distress. So that was one thing. Looking at the conditions, so I'm looking at things that could exacerbate that, how uncomfortable it is in there, how cold and sterile, he's in solitary confinement. A number of some people yesterday that we were on calls with, area organizers, said that, like, hey, we're going to probably see him in a metal chair. They already mentioned in some of the reporting that he had a spit guard over his head, and it just evokes images of torture. Someone in Twitch this morning said torture. Absolutely. It felt like Abu Ghraib. It felt like, Shady Amoeba, what's the link to? What are you dropping the link to? I see the link, but I don't know what it was because I couldn't see the chat. Can you let me know what that link is you just dropped? I'd be more than happy to share it or find it so I can play it. So many questions. I also want to be mindful of what people send me, and everything that I get is not for public consumption. And I won't divulge the person's name. They did not give me permission. But someone sent me this email this morning as I sent out the newsletter, letting folks know that I'll be covering this. Someone says that someone's urging me to please look into more cases at Charleston County Detention Center, especially over the last year. There are so many more cases. This person says that they know of an inmate who feared for his life and reported it, and it was ignored and was beaten. They tried making it look like the inmate deserved it or caused it, but the inmate reported concerns before the incident happened. The jail is not staffed properly. Staff is not properly trained. They have cameras that don't work. Okay, this is according to this email I received this morning before 7. They need more cameras that work. This jail needs accountability and transparency. I wish you could pull more complaints of inmates, and although they may be in jail, they are still human. Absolutely, right? Someone's son or daughter, someone's child is in that prison. Thank you for sending me that. Whomever, again, I don't want to disclose your name. This. I don't, yeah. Oh, you just posted this video for other people. Gotcha. All right. It's so getting so much communications on Facebook or Instant Messenger about the conditions, people leading, telling me how bad it is in there. And I think this is the issue, right? So I opened up today, and I mentioned this in previous live streams. There was a concerted effort. There was a concerted effort. What? Your oppressor, the father that someone mentioned in the comments of your oppressor yesterday. I'm reading. I'm reading. I'll get to that in a second. But as I opened up this morning, there's a tendency to use the family's wishes as a shield. We debunked that, right? We moved away from that, and we said that that's not enough for us not to question these practices, because these practices are systemic, right? They don't just impact one family. They impact a multitude of people. They impact an entire community, right? And the other thing that why this is so important to while calling for this tape was so important. Well, let me move on. I kind of lost my train of thought looking in the chat a little bit, but let me move on to there were other deaths at Al Cannon. I think this is what I was going to say. So there's another faction of organizers out in Charleston. This is what I was going to say. There's another faction of organizers out in Charleston who, unlike me, unlike the people I'm organizing with, who want the entire system to be held accountable, they are trying to put this on just one person and one facility. And while we're focused on justice for Jamal Sutherland, and while we will definitely talk about these cases and similar cases and review them, this is not just about Kristen Graziano. And I resent the implication of those saying that we are Democrats trying to cover up for Democrats. If you know me, if you watch just 1 minute of my content, you know that I hold them all accountable. The DR don't matter. You all get the smoke. In fact, I'm probably harder on Democrats because I expect more. I expect better. I'm harder on Democrats because I expect more. I don't really expect too much from the GOP. But I expect more from the Democrats who purport to be acting in my interest. So we're not going to play this game, the good old boy system. And just because, I'm just going to say this again, just because you other organizers out there are cozy with the GOP, right? Especially out there, those who were former Trumpian MAGA supporters, y'all who have close ties to Al Cannon. If you're going to sit out here and try to get us to attack Graziano, because you are doing the bidding of an Al Cannon, oh, you in the wrong game. We ain't playing that. We're trying to get justice. We ain't trying to get a bag. We're not trying to get close to these power structures. We're trying to dismantle these power structures that are killing us. And we're not doing the bidding of the good old boys. They might have deputized y'all just for this moment. They might have deputized y'all, incentivized y'all. I don't know what y'all getting. But we're fighting for justice, and I think that's important to say. This is not a petty grievance. This is what I firmly believe, because there's a faction of people who are telling you, no. This is all about Kristen Graziano. This is the system, and we saw that. This was her second day on the job. I've acknowledged that, right? And I'm about to hop back into the Twitch chat. But we're not going to do the bidding of the good old boys who've been in office. And if you think Al Cannon being the sheriff for over 30 years, I don't even need to Google what shenanigans, what misdeeds, what death, what harm occurred under his leadership. So I don't even know y'all end game. What's the what, I don't even know the end game of just trying to scapegoat one person. It's the entire system. Jamal Sutherland was failed. It was starting at the resources that were not available to that staff. And I'm not vilifying the staff at that facility that had to call the police, that felt they had to call the police. They were under-resourced, apparently, right? They needed more resources. The community needs more mental health resources. So if there's a facility that can't handle a certain type of disgruntled inpatient, then there needs to be another one that can, y'all. And they exist. They exist all over the country, all over the world. You don't have to go to jail if you're having a mental health incident. You don't have to go to jail, right? There are options. I need y'all to understand that too. So the system failed him there. The system failed him when he was in custody of NCPD, even though they sent out that highly edited, highly redacted video that don't even show you every step. It's not like it was unedited. It was super edited. Shout out to Fernando for constantly calling that out, right? So NCPD, I'm sure, failed him. We don't know how they treated him on the way to the jail. We don't know if he got the Freddie Gray treatment. We don't know if they agitated his condition. You saw how he was still in, well, we don't even know what happened in the facility. We don't have footage of that. And of course there's HIPAA laws and other concerns there, but like, we don't know if his state got worse while he was in custody of NCPD, right? As somebody is trying to throw one law enforcement official under the bus, right? Because we know he had a favorite. We know that. We know somebody had a preference, right? And I'm sure Graziano wasn't his preference, right? So you're scapegoating Graziano, right? No, y'all all got some blame. Y'all all got something, and not even blame. You all have accountability. You all have a responsibility. You all have a role to fix this, to repair this harm, to make sure this shit never happens again. So I don't know what this is, like the GOP coming out, black GOP coming out, trying to scapegoat the candidate that they didn't want in office because y'all were getting bags to try to, come out and endorse. Oh, Scarlett Wilson too, right? Scarlett's holding a lot of cards, right? So we ain't forget that too. We saw y'all. It's not a secret. We get it. You've been incentivized to help the GOP, including there are questions around Mark Pepper, as I brought up yesterday. In your proximity to these very same people, the very same people who caused this harm. And shame on whoever delivered that black family to Mark Pepper. Shame on y'all. I'm not saying you should have got a Ben Crump, but shame on y'all for delivering that black family to Mark Pepper, because there's clearly a conflict of interest there. Clearly. I'm going to head back into the chat. It's so much over here in Twitch. Fernando, I'm going way back, so sorry, y'all, but the footage is extensive from another camera where about 20 people who witnessed. You talking about the Jamal Sutherland incident? And then D, you said earlier, D, and thank you for your support and sharing, D, across all platforms. Someone mentioned in the comments at the presser that we were in yesterday, some of y'all might have saw the ACLU convened a press conference. Shout out Emily Walter. Shout out Fernando, Marcus McDonald. Shout out Tisha, my sis, who was, just a great representative yesterday. We all were at this presser yesterday. So D, you're saying that someone mentioned in the comments that their father died at Al Cannon. Wow. CPD is probably trying to set themselves. This is bails out. CPD is probably trying to set themselves up for an excited delirium ruling, right? Yeah, we've already seen that. Like last night, we saw that they came out with another justification for his death, where they're blaming the medication. Excited, it was excited something. I'll find it. Something either excited. It was not excited delirium, but it was something else with excitement in the name. They're already trying to pass it. And again, I want to lift up something that Evelyn, mentioned in a previous live stream. We got to stop acting like tasers are non-lethal. We got to stop acting like tasers don't cause death, right? We got to stop so they can blame everything else. They'll blame the medication. They'll blame a pre-existing health condition. They'll blame everything except the very electricity is coursing through his body. And God knows how many times they kept pressing the trigger on that taser to discharge whatever level of intensity. God knows how much, right? They're definitely setting up something. Fernando, you went on to say we hold everyone accountable. Absolutely. Let me see what else is going on here. Let me see. Fernando, again, you said you saw one of the TV outlets mention yesterday the family also called NCPD to release all the video. Yeah, and this is the other thing. I'm glad you said all in all caps, Fernando. There's more video, right? I was surprised that body cam came out. I thought closed circuit footage would come out. but body cam come out. But I want to see all the body cam, and I'm going to switch to Live 5 News in a minute, because it looks like Live 5 News had a different vantage point. At least the way the footage looked, it looked different. The quality looked different, like almost as if it was from another officer's body cam that wasn't completely operational. And so we know that there are more vantage points that need to be released. And then you also know that the video cuts off. The video cuts off as you see. It looks like Jamal is still spasming, but he's on his way out. It looks like he's leaving us, right? And then the video cuts out. We don't know what happens after that. Did he ever get CPR? Was he ever rendered aid? Right? Nicole, you wrote. Let me see. Yeah, they were. Pardon me. They were ordering him to do things he just physically could not. Physically and mentally could not. And I don't know. Pardon me. I don't know if y'all you also heard. They kept saying, "Oh, he's got a spoon." Oh, he's got a spoon, and I think they even mentioned his tray. Y'all got guns, batons, vests on, tactical gear, helmets, and all that shit. Like, that spoon ain't gonna kill you. It's no, and then you spray him, you pepper spray him, as if that's gonna make someone in mental distress and in need of mental assistance, in need of health care. That's not gonna get them to calm down. All right, so I'm going to get to, this is another graphic video that completely slipped below the radar. I want to say, if it wasn't for my DJ Jared, DJ Moldy Brain Jared, if it wasn't for you, I would have never known about this. But let me tell you something. I didn't see this video until this morning. So this is another explicit video, y'all, from the Post and Courier. This is from September. I've been talking about how this is, hey, if y'all don't give a damn about Black lives, how about the white lives then? When will y'all start caring about cops killing people with impunity? Right? And so this is regarding the James Britt incident in Mount Pleasant. Again, this is graphic, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and play it. I'm gonna pause it right here real quick. So James Britt died after being injected with ketamine. So another issue. What are they doing to subdue these people? What are they doing? Why are they using these tactics? Why are they using these tools? We know that ketamine was used in other incidents across the country, resulting in death, countless deaths. Cops should not have ketamine. They are not medical professionals. They should not be given this as a tool to subdue anyone. Okay? They got to find better ways. Y'all got these big budgets, but yet y'all can't find ways to de-escalate. I'm going to hit play.
Please let me out.
We gave you a chance.
I was on the walk.
Stay down.
No, I didn't.
Mr. Britt, stay down.
Please, man.
Stop resisting.
I'm not resisting, goddammit.
Lay still.
Well, let go. Please, let me out there. I'm sick.
We got it.
Stay down.
I want to get out.
Stay down.
I'm not resisting.
Stay down.
Please.
Stay down.
Please.
You'll get up here in just a second.
Please. Please, you hurt me.
Stop.
Goddamn. Please. Please help me. Please.
I swear they just say stop resisting out of reflex.
That's why I haven't counted. I was like, what the hell is going on?
Listen to them laughing.
I need one pair. I need one.
I need ambulance.
The rest of them came out of my pocket somewhere.
I swear to God, man, I'm about to die.
You can give her a whole set if you want some thicker ones.
Please.
Mr. Britt.
Please let me out. Please let me out. God damn. Please let me out.
This is James Britt, a white man in Mount Pleasant, Jazz.
Okay. I need you to listen to me, okay?
No.
Mr. Britt.
Please let me out.
Hey, Mr. Britt.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What
Please,
I need.
I swear to God,
Okay,
I'm
gonna talk you through this, but you need to be quiet and listen to me.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I have paramedics here.
Please let me out, please.
Listen.
I'm not gonna hurt nobody.
Okay, Mr. Britt.
I'm not gonna hurt nobody. Please let me out.
Miss Britt, listen to her for a second. Hey, Miss Britt.
Alcohol.
Please.
Probably alcohol use failed.
Listen to Mr. Britt, listen to her for a second. Remember? Hey, did I give you the opportunity to turn around and sit up on your bottom?
No.
Okay.
Y'all, he's inebriated too.
Leave
So
that
like,
note right here.
it's a
all right?
factor.
They help me at all.
We're gonna ketamine him. That way it's safe.
We're gonna ketamine
Is there a
him.
specific spot y'all want him to go to?
Please let me out.
Like East Cooper or something
Yeah,
like that.
whichever's.
Stop.
Please, I swear to God.
Stop it. Stop. You're gonna get up here in just a second, but I need you to stop and stay still.
I'm not
She's
gonna be
laughing.
mean.
She is laughing.
I'm nice as I can be.
What?
I'm nice.
Stay down.
I'm nice.
Stay down. Stop. Stay down. Get that ketamine. Yep.
So if I can't breathe.
You can. You're talking, so you're breathing. And I can hear you breathing.
I mean,
Stay
really.
down. Stay down.
Please help me out.
Stop moving. Stop
If you just stop moving, stay down.
We'll give him a shot of ketamine, and then we'll roll him.
Shot of ketamine.
And then we'll just
Fair enough.
make a move.
Stop.
Stop. Stop. Stop.
Stop moving.
I'm not gonna hurt nobody. I swear to God.
Okay.
All I want to do is roll over.
You can hear
I
it.
swear to God,
I'm
I
wearing
ain't gonna be
headphones,
back to
y'all.
jail,
You can
I
hear
swear.
his like
I'm
gargling.
serious. I have a job, a goddamn.
Yeah, the respiratory distress.
Please let me roll over. Please.
How about
Please.
a tilt?
Anybody want to go
Please,
and get
God
coke?
damn it.
Somebody's saying tilt, and they won't
We're
even.
gonna tilt you up.
I don't give a fucking laughing ass bitch.
What?
Come
He's
on up.
inebriated.
Now,
He sounds like he don't even like he's.
Let that motherfucker let me off of my feet.
That's fine.
Y'all motherfuckers are going to be fucked.
stop, Mr. Brett.
I'm not doing nothing.
It's really painful to watch. Shout out Quadro in the comment section in Facebook. Quadro, you just wrote. Let me pick up the phone and see what you just wrote in Quadro on Facebook. Between watching this and Jamal, they don't give a damn about their humanity.
Please.
Sorry, y'all. Not only that, y'all. So let me tell you something. I didn't know that this was published. This was published in September September of 2020. Didn't even know this existed. My first question was, well, damn, Mount Pleasant released this? They released the body cam footage, even with those exemptions in place that let them skate without releasing it. Steven, I'm going to get to your comments in a second. But look at this story right here, y'all. This story right here. So the commentary was Charleston County paramedic haunted by a needless death, right? So I was wondering, like, where did that footage come from? And it can't. So let me just read this story. I'm going to blow this up a little bit, and then I'm going to get back into the comment section. Because Steven, you said a lot of things about tasing that I think we need to talk about as well. The first time Greg Carney saw the video from the Mount Pleasant policewoman's body camera, he vomited. Watching it again with me, watching the very moment he administers a maximum dose of powerful sedative that will end his life, in the life of Jamie Britt, is incredibly hard. So this is the paramedic that came to, and this is written by Steve Bailey with the Post and Courier. Okay, I'm going to skip down here. While graphic videos have been roiling police departments nationwide, this is one video that Mount Pleasant Police Department doesn't want you to see. The town has refused to release the body camera footage in Britt's death last fall, despite my months-old request. Okay, I guess this is Steve talking. I eventually got it. So Steve Bailey said he eventually got it through other sources. The video is important not only for what it says about how Mount Pleasant cops handled Britt's arrest, but what it says about how Charleston County EMTs use ketamine. Okay, so the EMTs administer ketamine. EMTs use ketamine as an anesthetic, I can't, tongue-tied, in subduing unruly suspects. So Steve Bailey got his hands on this footage through a source. This wasn't even released. This is sad. This is so horribly sad. I'm gonna
Please.
This is Katie.
Gonna stop right there. Well, actually, let me just play this. This was from March, y'all. So this was a couple months ago, right? And I played this during another live stream. I'm gonna play it again just to give y'all context about that case we just saw in Mount Pleasant.
New tonight, we are hearing from the sister of a man who died in the custody of Mount Pleasant Police.
News 2's Katie Turner joins us live from the Mount Pleasant Police Department. And Katie, we have learned a lot about that incident from a newly released report.
That's right, Brendan. And in that report, we've since learned that those officers involved will not be facing any charges.
So in the calls for justice for Jamal, that's the other thing, right? Even if there's a civil settlement, what does accountability look like? We know that jailing these cops, arresting these cops, that's not what I will call for because I'm an abolitionist. But we do know that that's the only measure of some sort of accountability that we have. And so with Jamal's incident, will the cops, will Thicket, who has a history of violence, and I think we got our development on Thicket yesterday, right? Thicket was, I believe, was suspended, right? So let me just play this quick 2-minute story regarding James Britt and his case, just reminding y'all of the facts.
A closed case, but a family still looking for closure.
There's not a day that goes by that I don't think about this. Not one day.
James Britt, known by his loved ones as Jamie, was a friend, brother, and father. On September 30th, 2019, Britt was being taken into custody for public intoxication.
They just can't, suffocate subjects while they're awaiting transportation and then ketamine them when it's convenient.
29 pages detailing what happened that night. Investigators say Britt was uncooperative with police and was held down with his hands behind his back.
You never put a subject face down on the ground with their hands behind their back. A human can't breathe that way.
In an effort to subdue Britt, he was given the drug ketamine and taken to a hospital where he passed away 2 weeks later.
They took him. They took his life.
The Charleston County Coroner's Office ruled his death as a homicide. The cause of death being restrained asphyxia and the toxic effects of ketamine.
Police officers detained subjects for a century without using ketamine, and they did it successfully.
For more than a year, the State Law Enforcement Division investigated, and now the Attorney General's office says the officers involved should not face criminal charges. The town of Mount Pleasant supported the decision, saying in part, our officers acted legally, professionally, and appropriately.
He was killed by people that we trust.
For Britt's family, a hard pill to swallow.
I do forgive them. However, there has got to be accountability for what they did.
Britt's family tells me that they hope the Mount Pleasant Police Department will put their officers through more training to prevent a similar situation from happening ever again. For now, live in Mount Pleasant, I'm Katie Turner. Count on 2.
So yeah, Joy Brown, I see you over here on Facebook. This happens way too often, and it's not necessary. Absolutely not. I'm gonna get back again. I said I was gonna talk, read Steven's comments over here in the Twitch comment section. Steven, you said it. Let me see. I think someone asked you a question. I'm just gonna read it and then figure it out. It says it depends. There are two functions. There are two functions on taser. So you're talking about. Oh yeah, it was in regards to your comment about the taser, right? The officer said 3 to 4 times, I guess, that they used that they squeezed the taser. It generates up to 10,000 volts. They're trained on what it does to the body, which makes it worse. It makes it so much worse. So they know what it does. And then people ask you, Steven, is there an override function? Does it automatically stop after a few seconds? Like, that seemed way too long. And then you said, Steven, again, let me get back. It depends, right? It depends. There are two functions on a taser. One causes pain that lasts as long as the cop holds the trigger. The other shoots prongs into the body and completes a circuit that basically causes temporary paralysis. That shock lasts 8 to 10 seconds and cuts off automatically unless redeployed. Wow. Thank you, Steven, for just adding to this conversation. We're trying to do this responsibly, and having your insight as a public defender really helps us do that. It's just, again, these are not necessarily unlethal options, or these options can be lethal depending on the person's body, depending on just the situation, depending on the cop's usage. If they're overzealous, right? 3 to 4 times. It's 3 to 4 times each. Thank you, Fernando. Like, it's crazy. And I think it was important for me to I've been talking about James Britt. We haven't even spoken about Jason Cooper yet, right? Because we don't have any footage there yet. We don't know what happened. And I know that it doesn't have all the neat and clean optics or details, so people are afraid to advocate. But we need accountability, because we're seeing with the James Britt body cam that was snuck to, somebody made sure that they got it to Steve Bailey at the Post and Curry, and still I didn't even know about it. I didn't see it, make news. And that family, again, this transcends color, because we know cops are doing this to a multitude of communities. It transcends Black people, right? It's impacting people of color in general. It's impacting immigrant communities, how they police immigrant bodies, immigrant populations. It's impacting how they police everyone, especially what we're seeing on King Street, right? So what we're seeing is that if you are inebriated, and y'all know, if you live in Charleston, I'll say if you've been here at least a year, if you've been here for all the seasons pre-COVID, you know how rowdy it gets, not just downtown, Isle of Palms, Windjammer, wherever, Sullivan's Island, wherever you at over there, wherever there's liquor, right, and a Dave Matthews cover band, you know it's going to get rowdy. And so now the police are going to treat everything like they did with James Britt, and that's a problem. That is a problem, because they're trying to protect business interests. And it's a shame that family hasn't gotten answers. I believe they did settle, from what I read. I believe they did settle, but there's still tons of questions remaining. Yeah. It never makes the news. It gets buried. I wanted to try to go back. I think there was another this was the press conference. I don't want to play that, but something else. I want to go to Live 5 News. Like I said, it felt like there was a different vantage point, not a better one, not a longer one, but it felt like there was a different vantage point. But this is okay. So this is interesting. This is a development. I didn't see this. This. It's going to be an ad. Let's try to.
During the pandemic, the classroom moved from physical to virtual.
Let's try to mute this before it plays. But it says the family of Jamal Sutherland to hold press conference on Friday. That's important, because we also know the family. And shout out to Fernando one more time. I'm the president of the Fernando fan club, apparently. But Fernando, you said that, like, in the comments of someone said, well, the family. Oh, let me take the volume on.
Logan, we briefly heard from the family of Jamal Sutherland last night, but today they're expected to speak more on his death.
Yes, Sutherland's family is expected to hold a news conference here at the Charleston County Jail today at noon. Now, through their attorney, they issued a statement last night that reads, quote, "We appreciate the sheriff's consideration of our wishes related to the jail video footage of our son, and we would like her to release it to the public at this time," end quote. Sheriff Kristen Graziano issued a similar statement saying she had deferred to the family and did not release that video until they were ready. Now, the video you've seen some parts of here was made available just before 11 p.m. Now, we spoke with Sutherland's family just days after his death in January. Here's some of what they told us at that time.
He was what I would call my baby. I had a spiritual relationship with him. Jamal loved his family. No violence at home. No holes in our walls. Never anything like that. So that I wasn't in the real world. I was not in this world, not the world of God. I was somewhere else.
Now, in that interview, Sutherland's mother also called for a law to be passed that would notify the parents of a mentally ill person if that person could not speak for themselves. Again, the family is set to hold that news conference here at noon. We'll bring that to you live on air on Live 5 News when it happens. Reporting live in North Charleston, Logan Reichstad, Live 5 News.
Okay, and so that's new. That came out this morning. That story. There was another one. Let me see if I can find. See if we can find the other clip. that Raphael, I guess it was the 6 o'clock news hour, might have been like later than that. Yeah, here we go. There is 2 stories here. Where's the one? We're gonna start with this one with by Patrick Phillips, and there might be an ad.
Get a fresh start each morning.
Okay, so this story is Charleston County Sheriff released a statement with video of inmate who died in custody. This is what we were waiting for from Graziano yesterday. I thought she was gonna make I thought she was gonna come out to the podium and make a statement. Oh, let's go.
News out of Charleston County, where Sheriff's Office has officially released video of an inmate's death from back in January. Our crews, like we said, have been working throughout the night going through that video showing the death of Jamal Sutherland.
Now, Sutherland died in the Charleston County.
Fernando, if you're still watching, can you substantiate whether or not they released like how many hours? It sounds like they released hours. That's the clip I'm looking for, where I think Raphael says there were hours of police footage released that we're going through. Okay. Thank you. It was hours of footage.
Jail on January 5th after being there for about 12 hours. This was after an arrest at the Palmetto Lowcountry Behavioral Health Center.
Caitlin Stansel broke down what happened in the footage. We want to warn you
that
Justin, some of this video
same question,
is hard
Justin.
to watch.
Some of the first footage we have of Jamal Sutherland inside the Al Cannon Detention Center starts around 8:19 p.m. on January 4th as he's being booked into the jail. We know he was taken into custody after a fight at Palmetto Behavioral Health in North Charleston, a psychiatric facility. And in this video, you can hear some of the bizarre things he was saying to law enforcement officers.
No! I love that gun. I love that gun.
What's going on, man? What you got going on?
The Illuminati is after me.
He tells officers he's superhuman. He's yelling, seems agitated. Officials say Sutherland was struggling with a mental illness at the time of his arrest.
No, this is not mental illness. This is a reality.
At least 6 officers then escort Sutherland through the processing room. He keeps talking about being superhuman and the Illuminati being after him.
Have you been here before?
Yeah, I've been here before. Okay. I'm a superhuman. The Illuminati is after me.
But otherwise, he does not appear to be resisting as officers.
You know, this is what's so degrading as well. Like it's again, I know I said this sloppily at the press conference yesterday and even on a call, but I really hope you get what I'm trying to say. You know, if there is an assailant, so to speak, right? An assailant is injured, perhaps in pursuit, or maybe there's a shootout. That assailant is even if there's a physical injury to that person they're pursuing, that person who allegedly committed a crime, right? If there's some sort of physical injury, a significant one, that person gets medical attention, right? If there's a stab wound, there's a gunshot. And so, like, why is it different with mental health? Why aren't you calling in this elite force or you know, the state or the county's specifically trained force of mental health professionals that can administer compassionate care without deploying deadly force? And why would you like the lack of compassion of being paraded through this this detention center? He's obviously having a mental episode. He's having a mental health episode. It's obvious, right? So like, why wouldn't he be afforded some kind of, like, even though I know he allegedly hurt someone at the facility, you can still deal with that. You can still ticket him and deal with that without having him to go into a facility that's meant to house criminals. And you know, we don't like that language and all that. That's carceral language. We don't believe on this platform. We don't believe in that. But you know what I'm trying to say. You taking them to a place where you house criminals. I don't get how we make that jump. Real quick, Evelyn, you wrote, I wish they weren't focusing so much on that. It's clear that he's having a psychotic episode, a psychotic break, right? I guess you mean like focusing on like what transpired at the mental health facility, right? We don't need to be like, wow, look at how, right? It's so inhumane. It lacks so much compassion. Yeah, it's really unfortunate. Let me let the rest of this play. It's just a little bit longer, and then I'm going to get back into the comments.
Lead him down some hallways. He continues talking loudly as he walks, almost rapping at one point.
I got a body of a Greek god, so guess what? My friends gonna get their face slammed in.
He then talks about being violent with someone, slashing throats and gouging out eyes. But an officer reassures him that he's going to be in a cell alone.
Well, right now, we're going to put you in a room to be by yourself. You don't have to worry about anybody, okay?
That's fine.
Okay.
About 7 minutes after he first entered the jail, Jamal approaches the cell where he would be held.
Look at that cell,
and
y'all.
eventually where he would die after an interaction with detention center deputies just about 14 hours
Look at
later.
that cell.
Even as the officer removes his handcuffs, Sutherland continues to loudly confess that he's being watched.
Look at that cell. You think that's going to make his situation better? It's like the ketamine. It's not the right solution. It's just going to make matters worse. Nothing about that gives that person comfort. Nothing about that setting makes that person calm down. That's not conducive to medical health. That's not conducive to health and wellness at all.
But he's cooperative as the deputy starts to undress him.
Step out of your pants, please.
Until the deputy asks him to sit on a stool and face the wall so he can change his shirt.
Face the wall. Have a seat on a stool, face the wall. No.
I'm not doing that.
Why not?
I'm not doing that.
The video appears to show the deputy then forcefully moves Sutherland onto a bench. And Sutherland reacts, saying, "Is this how you treat the mentally ill?"
Oh my God, unbelievable, y'all. I didn't see this. This is the first time I'm seeing this.
At this point, it's hard to tell exactly what's happening. From this camera perspective, we do not see Sutherland again, although we can hear him. And the video ends as the cell door closes. According to the videos provided by the Charleston County Sheriff's Office, the next time we see Sutherland interact with detention center deputies is inside that very cell around 9:30 the next morning. I'm Caitlin Stansel. Back to you.
Now, the family of Jamal Sutherland is set to speak publicly later today. At the top of the hour, a closer look at how they're responding to his death.
Now, Low Country.
So we're gonna go back. I want to play this other clip to see. Really trying to find that one clip. The one clip again from the evening news. It might not even be that important, but I'm trying to find it in hopes that we can get additional perspective. Unbelievable. I haven't seen
It's
it.
no secret that we're living in challenging times.
Wow.
That
It's so coincidence that this is the law firm that's representing the family. Interesting ad placement there. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. I already talked about Mark Pepper. Here we go.
Undo it, get in my hand, because he still got probes in him.
Oh, this is just okay. I'm not gonna play this anymore. But again, this is the other vantage point I was talking about. This was just a 50-second clip. I don't know, so this shows me that there's other cameras, other vantage points, other perspectives that we need access to understand what's going on. Let me hop over to Facebook and read the comments there. So he never got his meds during all that time. It doesn't look like it, CT. It doesn't look like it. From leaving the mental facility, like it doesn't seem like there was a mental health person walking with him to the cell, making sure that he gets his medication. Nothing. Hey Aoka, his cops are not equipped for mental health crisis. They are not. He should have gone to a hospital. Quadro wrote earlier. It's this, let me see what you wrote earlier. It's the same here. The same in Jamal case without the tape, right? With like Walter Scott, without the tape, we don't know. And people are hesitant to speak out despite the mountain of evidence that the system treats, like with the Brits, right? Yep, mountains of evidence, absolutely. Bayside or Bridgeview, yep, Jason Cooper, yep. Thank you, Quadro. Let me hop over here to Twitch chat. Ooh, see what you said, Jessica, up here. At what point, it just jumped. At one point, does a mental health facility decide police are the only option? Absolutely. Absolutely. And I don't have any, like, y'all know I'm very candid about my own mental health issues. I've had to receive care at a facility. No stigma, can't shame me about that. It's real. But I know I had insurance, right? I didn't have this type of issue going on. I went into these places on my own, right? But even as I navigated mental health system where I lived, and this was in Montgomery County, Pennsylvania, as I navigated that, it seemed to be there were so many options. There were more options than just this or that, right? State hospital. There was a state hospital option, right? There was, and then our hospital systems had psychiatric wards that were equipped as well. And so I don't know like what area hospitals could have done. I'm assuming couldn't have been a hospital, a literal hospital, not just the mental health facility, but couldn't have been like someone who can administer, someone who can stabilize him and then get him to wherever they need to get him to, just stabilize him. And I don't know why that option wasn't given. It has to be more than one option between mental health facility that's understaffed, under-resourced, and jail. It has to be another step. All right. Justin, you were responding to Evelyn's comment because this is going to make a whole lot of people who may need psychiatric care second guess whether or not they need to check into a facility. Absolutely. And Justin, you wrote back, Evelyn, I know a couple examples from friends who are in healthcare or patients who are terrified. I know. Let me be candid again. I remember when I first had a diagnosis and I went to a facility and it scared the shit out of me. And I'm like, how the fuck did I get here? And this is where someone told me to go, or someone like, and I'm like, how the hell? And it scared the shit out of me to the point where I had to start doing my due diligence and researching what options I had, especially as someone who had insurance. So you're right. Like this whole situation, like people who go through this, people who have schizophrenia, people who have bipolar disorder, when in their lucid moments, like this is like this, not even just their lucid moments. This is something they can remember. This is something they remember, and this further leads to their agitation and their fears and anxieties around being in custody of whomever. And it's really sad. It's really sad. Fernando, you said there's footage from body cams, one cell phone video, and surveillance video. Who had a cell phone? A cop? Shady Amoeba, you said they need an in-between. Cops can't deal with mental health. Hospitals can't deal with someone whose condition they can lead to violence. I guess. You're right. It has to be. MUSC has a psych hospital, so that's a state hospital. And then Shady Amoeba, you said MUSC isn't equipped to work with violent patients. But is there not like a state hospital? Like someone asked yesterday, who runs the Palmetto place that he was at? Is that county run? I don't even know how it works here. I already knew before I moved here that healthcare wasn't like I already knew it was going to be slim pickings. I don't know. Right, if these places had the funding, right? Instead of funneling more money to the police, right? Let's give these places why not fund them up? There's no reason why CPD has a militarized armored vehicle. There's no reason why CPD needs an armored vehicle. And y'all rolled that shit out last year. And I'm not trying to be funny. I know sometimes I slip in a joke, Dave Matthews. I'm not trying to make this situation comical, but you rolled that shit out last year. Y'all, the optics, y'all look like fucking clowns. CPD, y'all look like clowns. You're rolling out an armored tank, broad daylight, on what's a crowd that's largely, I would say 60% white girls in crop tops and yoga pants. You look wild crazy. You look wild dumb rolling out this fucking military vehicle against student protesters, largely young people in their 20s. The optics, yo, because y'all have the warrior mentality. So everyone else is an enemy combatant, right? Everyone else that doesn't comply, You don't comply, you either die, you get gas shot at you, you get gas canisters, tear gas shot at you. If you don't comply, something's off. Something's wrong. Y'all don't. Y'all it just so y'all. And the reason why I'm bringing it up is like, so we get all this taxpayer money so y'all can have these little toys to play with against. And then when y'all roll them out, it just didn't even look like. Come on, playing G.I. Joe. Seriously, warrior mentality. It's like everything is like war. Did you see what they were wearing in the jail? Officer Thicket, I believe that was her with the hair pulled back in like the little bun. Officer Thicket was wearing like a vest, looked like Kevlar, and all. It just seemed like over the top, like the things y'all needed. Anyway, I don't want to button this up. This is a lot to talk about. There's a lot to talk about. I didn't go to the front page of the Post and Courier. I want to see if they made this front page news. They definitely, you see right here, the breaking news designation here. Let's take a look at the front page. I haven't looked at it yet. Been up since 3 and haven't looked at the front page. Community on edge over video release. And I think they need to cut it out. They need to cut it out. Brian Hicks, Fitz News too. Y'all need to cut it out. This eruption and on edge and will there be protests, and y'all are really trying it. Y'all need to cut it out, right? And then look, so we on edge, but look what's in the fucking middle of the paper. This paper is like a fucking rag, man. Wrap your fish in this shit. When y'all go fishing, wrap your fish in this shit. If you're gonna have to like use your library card to access the Post and Courier. This is just unbelievable. Let's go back to do people wrap fish still? I don't know. My mom used to come home with fish wrapped in paper from the fish store. I don't know. Let's look at the coverage real quick. Gregory E has been on it. Looks like Gregory E is back on the beat. Let's just read a little bit from his reporting before I sign off. Because honestly, today is the day where we need to prepare. I want to say, again, I want to acknowledge Quadro Campbell, who's been trying to lead efforts behind the scenes to formulate a response to this gratuitous violence, this police violence, these extrajudicial killings of Black people, and not just Black people, as I demonstrated this morning. We are trying to respond, but the family coming out at noon is something I will be watching. And it's not so much that we're looking for cues from the family, but we do that. Their thoughts matter. What comes out of their mouth matters. But I will say this: I anticipate a little bit of lawyer speak in there, but I really do hope the family. It sounds like the family came around to calling for the video to be released, which is reassuring. I just want to hear from the family. Let me just leave it like that. I want to hear from the family. But I know one thing: we're still going to fight for justice. We're going to fight for an equitable system that doesn't put people like Jamal, who are in need of health care, put them in a position where they are fighting for their life, screaming for their life. People like James Britt, I don't care if he was drunk. I don't care if he threatened to punch everybody in the bar and all that. He did not deserve to die on the street, face down, like some sort of like animal. He did not deserve that. He deserved more dignity. I don't care. People do not deserve to die like that. Those cops were laughing. They were joking the entire time. So you clearly don't understand what it does, as we heard from the I believe it was a brother-in-law who talked about how you can restrict someone's breathing by putting them face down with their hands behind their back. We learned that from the Derek Chauvin trial, right? These systems, these practices have to be called into question. The procedures in which how they apprehend folks needs to be called into question. Let me go back over on. Good morning, Trudy, Lucas. Good morning. I got the sisters here. Got Ayoka and Trudy. Yes. Horrible headline. I agree with you. It's very horrible. Let's just go ahead and read this. I know I've had it blown up here. You probably perused it. Let me go ahead and read a little bit and blow it up. Blow it up a little bit more. All right. The Charleston County Sheriff's Office released dozens of video clips late Monday, May 13th, related to the ongoing investigation into, thank you for the new follower, May 13th, related to the ongoing investigation into the January 5th death of Jamal Sutherland, a black man with mental health issues who was arrested on suspicion of misdemeanor assault the day prior. The videos, and see it now that we know it's a dozen. Fernando too, he said this yesterday while we were at the press conference. The timing of the release, that was all intentional. So I think people are wanting this to kind of fall into the a lazy Friday news cycle, but no, that won't happen. So we're talking about the family going to be talking about it. We saw Marlon Kimpson yesterday. I'll play that before I hop off. Marlon Kimpson has some words, so I do expect. J.A. Moore has entered the chat. Marvin Pendarvis, who works works at the Pepper law firm, he weighed in on the Jamal Sutherland incident. We'll get to that as well. But let's just go ahead and real quick to read this next couple of paragraphs. The video come after several days of ratcheting tensions over an investigation that spanned months and lingering questions over how and why Sutherland, age 31, died. Several of the video clips show deputies leading the 31-year-old from the jail booking area on the night of January 4th and into a cell in the sprawling Leeds Avenue facilities behavior modification unit. Oh, that was the behavior modification unit? Body camera video from detention deputy Brian Hall, who was one of those that was put on administrative leave, I believe, and then administrative duties. All right, so body camera from detention deputy Brian Hall, Howell, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, captured deputies' actions as they entered his cell the following morning in an attempt to get him to bond court. The footage shows Sutherland, who was diagnosed with bipolar disorder and schizophrenia in his teens, standing in his cell, standing in his cell as deputies order him to drop to his knees. All right, and they go on to just outline what we've already seen. So I wanted to get to that. Yeah, I watched it this morning. Let's see if we can find where the lawmakers weigh in on incident. Down on news. I saw J.A. Moore. Let's just do Marlon Kimpson real quick because that kind of went off yesterday. And very interesting. I need the calls for justice to be louder than the calls for peace. I'm just saying. Let me see. It's everywhere. Here we go.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, let me just have your attention for a moment.
I will acknowledge this. I appreciate that our lawmakers, especially our African-American lawmakers, I appreciate the fact that they are drawing attention to this issue. So I'm not being overly critical for the sake of being critical. However, what typically happens is that these lawmakers come out and encourage and yell for and demand peace when we should be demanding justice. And usually they're sent out to do this, to make this kind of statement. We need different types of calls. I'm sorry, y'all, we have to do better. But let me let you hear this before I have to sign off.
This morning I issued a statement on the death of Jamal Sutherland. Mr. Sutherland died while in custody of law enforcement back in January. In Charleston, we've known Jamal's name for some time. It's been written about, most recently by Brian Hicks of the Post and Courier. But soon, people across the country will know him and will be calling for the same answers that his family has been searching for since he was killed in January. Unfortunately, I believe that the coming days will give the public a grim, heartbreaking look into Mr. Sutherland's final moments. While I have not seen the videotape of his death, I've had discussions with people who have and knowledge of it, and they all find it very, very disturbing. In this regard, we must begin with the premise that mental illness in and of itself is not a crime, and certainly not deserving of death.
That's important.
At minimum, when law enforcement is involved, they must be adequately trained to intervene in such situations. I know of very, very few circumstances where a mentally ill person restrained and behind bars should result in the death of by the hands of law enforcement.
Yeah, he knows very few any that justify that. Yeah, I'm not trying to cut him off I just in the interest of time. So I was looking for that other clip. This is it. See what we got here. See this, and then this will be the last clip, and then I'll just out. But yeah, we're just gonna be today. People are asking what the next steps are. Next steps are probably some sort of mobilization effort, more than likely. But stay tuned. Please continue to just check out my IG feed and other communications. We want to really galvanize the Black community to help fight for justice for Jamal.
And now, more than 4 months later, still plenty of questions into the death of Jamal Sutherland. News 2's Katie Turner spoke with some of the people asking these questions and joins us in studio. Katie, you've seen the first few frames of the video.
I have, Brennan, and what I've seen so far is that video is difficult to watch. Like Sophia said, it shows Sutherland being tased, pepper sprayed, and dragged out of his cell just minutes before his death. It was released to us by Charleston County Sheriff's Office less than an hour ago, and lawmakers and activists hope once this video is reviewed, it can help answer some hard questions. Reigniting a...
This is our press conference yesterday. Again, shout out ACLU, shout out Emily Walter. Shout out everyone who came out yesterday.
The Low Country has felt,
including April over here, April Richardson from Black Voters Matter. Shout out April. Shout out Letitia Fernando again, fan club. I'm having the buttons made this week. Just amazing presence by everyone there.
Before a death at the hands of those sworn to protect.
And the tragic death of Jamal Sutherland is yet another example of how our criminal justice system is gravely unequipped to respond to social issues.
Local activists say they are fed up with the lack of accountability.
Our community is tired and angry.
Jamal Sutherland was arrested at a mental health facility where he had been receiving help.
Now! I need my message!
He was taken to the jail, booked on assault charges, and hours later he died while waiting in his cell to go to a bond hearing.
I know all of us ain't perfect. Some of us been in that same center, get processed the same way Jamal Sutherland did, and nobody deserves to be treated like that. A mental health disability or acting out or getting angry, none of that deserves a death sentence.
On the State House floor, Low Country lawmakers tell the limited details we know of his story, hoping to bring justice to the Sutherland family.
And I just ask that we also just take a moment to pray for that family.
Representative J.A. Moore filing the Justice for Jamal Act to take a hard look.
That's the development, the Justice for Jamal Act. So I want to look into that and learn more about that.
Look at mental health policies in the criminal justice system.
And so we examined the law and we came up with stuff. This is how you specifically should handle, in every case, individuals that have been arrested at a mental health facility.
As the community pushes for action in this case, leaders in Columbia are pleading for patience.
My call to action to our community is to pay attention to the actual facts and details, not.
We will, J.A. We're going to do both. We're going to chew gum and walk. We're going to ask for accountability and justice. And we're processing in real time. This is the other thing, too. This patience piece. Look how quickly this story moved in the span of 3 days. So we don't have the luxury. And this happened in January. We've been patient. I've been calling for this since I was on the Jason Cooper, and I'm not trying to censor myself. I'm saying, like, we've been calling for Jason Cooper, that footage to be released. We've been calling for this since January. We've been patient. Quadro's been sending email and communication and talking to people and poking the bear. Like y'all, my followers have been calling Scarlett Wilson. We've been patient. So please, let's chill out with the patient piece. This dude died in January. It's May. And the only reason why this is getting so much attention is because y'all scared that we're gonna interrupt tourist season. That's it. Not JA, but y'all meaning the police and the mayor and the CVB. That's all y'all care about. Is the tourism season? Is that cruise ship coming and docking, right?
Focus on anything else but.
I just need. Look, I'm not saying Marvin. I'm not saying Marlon. I'm not saying JA is not. I'm not saying that. I want to qualify that statement I'm about to say. I just need a brave lawmaker. That's it. That comes out and just tells it like it is. You can still show up and walk people patiently through the process and make sure that things are done right and make sure the family's respected and make sure the family is cared for. You can still do that and be brave. And I'm not saying that they're not. I'm just saying, y'all, I need a brave lawmaker to say something other than what we've been hearing for years here. This is the same thing y'all told us after Mother Emanuel, when you should have been shouting for resources, shouting for more for us. I just need my black lawmakers to be brave, especially if you're a Democrat. We already know what the black lawmakers who are GOP, from the GOP, we already know what they up to. Right? We already know what the black GOP, black MAGA is up to. Black Democrats. Come on. And I'm not throwing Wendell Gilliard in that because I don't believe he's a Democrat. Like, Wendell's over there. Like, J.A., Marlon, Marvin. Like, let's go. We've been patient.
Making sure that this grieving family gets justice.
Sheriff Kristen Graziano released a statement saying in part that she followed the family's wishes.
All right, I'm tired of hearing that because that's just whatever. All right. So much. We did so much. We covered so much ground today. Honestly, I know I just got worked up. It's just really tough. It's tough. I want to just acknowledge y'all, the community that watches these live streams on Facebook, on Twitch, on YouTube. Thank you so much. Because if without your context, without your comments, without your questions, I wouldn't be able to process what's going on. I wouldn't be able to. And I think this is what I'm trying to do with this platform, is not just so you hear me speak, but that you all weigh into this conversation, and not in that whole toxic comment section way, but in a way where we ask each other questions, the way you all just asked each other questions, the way Quadro offered insight on Facebook, how Letitia offered insight, how Jazz will offer insight, how Steven was there to answer questions that we didn't have answers to. Some of y'all come from different types of professional backgrounds where you have a very keen perspective on this justice system. And all of that matters here, because all too often we have to just rely upon what's printed, what's put on TV, and that's it. We have to, as a community, come together and piece this puzzle together and work toward these outcomes. So I think it's a little bit cathartic, I guess. I don't know if cathartic is the word, but it feels good to have community to go to. And I know I can curse, and for those who are new, welcome. New to the platform, I do curse. Hopefully it doesn't turn you off too much. But this is an unfiltered place where we can talk about these things in real time. And so y'all, please stick together this weekend. Today, again, keep the family in your prayers and your thoughts. We can do this together. We can move and activate around this issue without disrespecting the family. I think that's those are false choices, that you either protest or you're with the family. I don't think that that's what that is. You can protest these systems and support the family. And anybody who advising the family, telling them that, hey, protest is going to hurt your case, y'all know that's a lie. Y'all know that's a bad faith argument. You know it's bull. You do. Don't advise that family. Don't tell that family that protest is going to hurt their case. Protest didn't hurt the George Floyd family. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. If anything, protest calls out these disparities and highlights facts, and people come forward with information and people don't feel alone. Again, I want to say to those who reached out to me via email and private message about your loved ones behind bars, I hear you. I'm thinking of you, and we're going to continue to daylight these issues that have been pushed into the darkness. So thank you so much, y'all. Thank y'all. Look at the Twitch God shining on me, maybe because I switched back. I don't know. Jared, DJ Moldy Brain, let's talk about it. I switched back and I haven't had any interruptions. But Comcast was here all week because we were lighting them up. So I'm so thankful and grateful that we didn't have any technical issues. So see y'all again. You might see me today. You might see me this weekend. But you might see me on TV like my mama did last night, calling me. But either way, we're going to be on top of this. Y'all, please take care of yourselves, okay? Take care of yourself, especially my black folk out there, my Gullah Geechee folk. Take care of yourself. Be safe out in these streets.